Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Legion Alpha, and by request, I have bumped up the Frost Deathknight. Oh yeah, isn't that armor cool? This is the PvP armor. Why am I over level 110? Well, there's some stuff in the artifact tree. Not ordinarily, there isn't. Usually the artifact tree is entirely passive and makes no difference whatsoever. But the Frost DKs do have something tasty-ish waiting on their artifact weapons, so it makes sense that we log on to level 110 for our brief demo here. How's this going to work? I'm going to do a brief overview of all the changes, how it plays, then there will be a dungeon at the end, so it's at the end. If you want to avoid spoilers and stuff for Legion, then that's going to be pretty cool, and I'll show you everything I do. Now, before we get to the dungeon bit, I just want to pre-spoil something, kind of. I'm going to do something at the end of this little preview here, which is fucking badass. So if you do skip ahead to the dungeon, just skip a little bit before it, and you might be a little impressed with something going on there. What do I think of the Frost DK? Too long didn't watch? It's fucking great. It's loads of fun. It's really a lot of fun. It's everything you love about the Warlords of Draenor, the Kata, the Mists of Pandaria, Frost DK, smoothed out, and all they've done is fix the fundamentals and changed how some things work so that it's less of a hassle, and then they've just bumped on some really cool fucking talents on top of it, which are all fun. Really fun talents. Is it perfect? No, but it's as close as really cool as you're going to get, honestly. It's hard to dislike this. It's really hard. If you enjoyed a Frost DK at any point in your life, I can't imagine you logging the Legion one and being disappointed in any way, shape, or form. So what's changed? Gameplay-wise, it remains very much the same. What they've done is got rid of things like Killing Machine working for like Frost Strike and Obliterate. It's just Obliterate now. Freezing Fog still exists. They have done the pruning. I don't want to bring it, but we've got like Army of the Dead's gone. Was that ever really a problem? No. Right? No, that was never really a problem whatsoever. They've trimmed down things like Strangulate's gone. That's a bit of a pisser. All these like little things, but we still get a Power Rune weapon. They've changed Death and Decay to a more Frost-themed. I've got to say, in terms of getting the theme right, they fucking nailed it with the Frost DK. So instead of Death and Decay, what you have now is an almost Starfall-style ability called Remorseless Winter, which looks fucking cool. Doesn't it look cool? Oh, man. Oh, this thing is graphically just off the fucking wall. Your basic, at the well, the way this works is, at the very core fundamentals, you've still got your 3 basic go-to spells. So we don't have different shades of runes now. We've all got death runes. So you've got your Obliterate, which can obviously be procced with Killing Machine to be a critical strike. We have Howling Blast, which applies our one disease, which is Frost Fever. So, ordinarily speaking, if you're doing a single target, you'll never have to apply that for just Frost Fever, because you'll get Freezing Frog or Rime procs in order to get those for free. And then we have Frost Strike. You have those 3 core fundamental spells that all work together. Frost Strike is just a runic power dump. That's all it is. You want to spend your runes on Obliterate, and you're going to use your Rime procs, of course, like this, in order to use your Howling Blast. Nothing you haven't seen before. Don't worry about these 2 weapons. They're fucking... This is the worst part. Okay, let's get it out of the way. The worst part ever is this is the only spec, I believe, I could be wrong on this, that it's go-to starting artifact ability is a passive. It wasn't... Well, yes, it was. Originally, this spawned a mini version of the Lich King. It looked really weird. Right? Arthas came and just stood next to you. And he gave you a buff. And he was like, hi, I'm the Lich King. I'm here. I want to say that Crystalline Sword is a placeholder. Absolute placeholder. So what it does is it spawns copies of Frost Reaper and Icebringer, which you forge in the artifact quests. I can get it to actually... There, you see this? These, like, appear next to you. It's so weird, right? And occasionally, they'll just go off and they'll stab things. That's it. So you got another one here. And that's the artifact ability. And there they go. You see, they just went off and attacked things. You have no control over them. They don't do anything. So I've got to put that down as placeholder. So we'll look towards the end of the beta period when we do a big revisit of the final view of the Frost DK to work out what the hell's going on there. So that's your 3 core fundamentals. Obliterate, Frost Strike, and of course Howling Blast. So we still have Death Strike, you still have Raise Ally, you still have Chains of Ice, thankfully. Chains of Ice is so useful. And Mobility, the big one with the Frost DK, isn't great. It's Wraith Walk, okay, all the DKs have this now. It's a 1-minute cooldown, and frankly, it's just not as useful as anything we would like to see. We have lost things like Gorfine's Grasp. Fucking love Gorfine's Grasp. Any PvE player will tell you how good that is, and some PvP players will certainly account for how great that is. Now, those are the basics. We still have Death Grip, we still have Mind Freeze, but you can see there's a lot of things missing here. Now, I don't want you to panic here. My bar setup, I want to point something out. My bar setup is from the initial incarnation of the Death Knights in Wrath of the Lich King. And over the years, and we're talking fucking years, right? It's like 6-7 years now. Spells have been taken away, and I've just added them into different things. So I use a lot of shift keys. A lot of shift keys and mouse variations, and I don't use things like 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's because I had them on things like when we had Blood Plague and our Plague Strike and all those kind of things, and they're now gone. We just have Frost Fever. So this is really a case of years of pruning has led to me being in this situation. Although, yeah, sure, I've got to admit that they've lost some cool stuff, as I already mentioned previously. Now, let's get into this talent tree. Now, classically, I would blast the fuck out of this first tier. And it deserves to be blasted in somewhat, but luckily, the rest of the talent tree makes up for how bad this is. So, it's all passives, and none of them affect your gameplay. Now, that has been my problem. I have no issue with passives. I have no issue with unused abilities. But it does bother me when they don't affect gameplay at all whatsoever. So, Shattering Strikes increases Frost Strike critical damage by 30%. Does that mean that we use Frost Strike in a different way? No, not at all. Icy Talons. Frost Strike increases your melee attack speed by 25% for 3 seconds. Does that change anything? No. Our Frost Strike usage is completely limited by our runic power, so there's nothing we can do about that, really. And Freezing Fog. Freezing Fog. Howling Blast now I keep calling it Freezing Frog. Howling Blast now deals 100% more damage to the primary target. Does that change anything? No, not really. Not really. We just wouldn't take this if we're going to be Howling Blast spamming. And obviously, once you get to a certain amount of mobs, it's better to be spamming Howling Blast than it is to be using Obliterate. So, but does it change anything? No. We're only going to be using them with Rhyme anyway, so what's the difference? At level 57, then we start getting some gameplay changes. So we get Murderous Efficiency, another passive. Consuming Killing Machine effects has a 50% chance to cause you to gain 1 rune. So what they've done, as you can already see, is they've got things like Runic Empowerment and stuff, yeah? They've got rid of that and made it more frosty, is the kind of idea, to fit the theme. So now it ties to Killing Machine in terms of generating runes. We have Runic Attenuation, increases your chance to trigger Runic Empowerment as if you had spent 35% more runic power. Okay, so another version. And then the version I really like, which is the replacement for Blood Tap. So Heart of Winter in WoD specifically was pretty shit. Yeah, pretty useless. But those of us who've played with DK for a very, very long time will be fully aware that when you had downtime, because Frost DKs classically have a lot of downtime, they don't anymore, by the way, that you would that's when you press your Horn of Winter again to a little bit of runic power. So for those of us who still have that in our muscle memory and probably couldn't shift it even through Walls of Draenor, I know I couldn't. Every time I played by Frost DK, I was always refreshing Horn of Winter. Horn of Winter is now Blood Tap, which is so cool. So below the Horn of Winter, it gains you 1 rune and generates 5 runic power, so it's actually more interesting than Blood Tap, which is very, very awesome. So I love this. This is what most players will probably go to, unless this mathematically works out to be better. But this fits in directly with you can help line up abilities, which is a big part of playing Frost now, is you want to bank your resources for certain attacks, all that kind of cool shit. So again, more passives besides Hungering Rune Weapon. So we have Ice Cap, where your crits during Pillar of Frost have a chance to extend its duration by 1%. 1 second, 1%. Now, the fact is, we get Killing Machine procs. You have your ordinary critical strike chance, which means I've had Pillar of Frost last... What does it ordinarily last? 20 seconds. I've had it last, like, 35. Easy. Which means it's fucking seriously cool. I mean, Pillar of Frost isn't exciting by itself. It increases your strength by 20%. It's not the most exciting of cooldowns, but... the fact that you can make it last a lot longer with Ice Cap, and it's pretty reliable to make it do that, I've liked it. It's been pretty cool. Avalanche, when Pillar of Frost is active, jagged icicles fall on your nearby enemies, dealing 80k damage over 20 seconds, right? So you get this AoE component. Or you can have Hungering Rune Weapon. So what you're going to do is swap your Empower Rune Weapon, which works as it ordinarily does in the history of the game. And now when you press this, you gain 1 rune and 5 runic power instantly, and every 1.5 seconds over 9 seconds. So instead of it like, the classic problem with the Power Rune Weapon, of course, is that you could pop it, but you might already have a couple of runes, and that goes to waste. Which now, with Hungering Rune Weapon, you no longer have that issue, and you have this continual ramping of resources to create a more consistent dump. Really nice single target. I like Ice Cap in a lot of scenarios, but Hungering Rune Weapon for a big boss is so nice, and it just adds to that smoothing of the gameplay, which ordinarily is very smooth in itself. So as we move down, we've got Abomination's Might. Obliterate crit, have a chance to drive lesser enemies to the ground, which is kind of useless in most scenarios, a little stun. Blinding Sleet is like an AoE disorientate. It's not that useful, honestly. It's good if you're like solo playing, I guess. But Winter is Coming is very cool. So enemies that are struck 5 times by Remorseless Winter while your Pillar of Frost is active are stunned for 4 seconds. The fact that Pillar of Frost is only on a 1-minute cooldown means that you're going to be doing this every 2 Remorseless Winters. That is pretty much every single trash pack. Every single trash pack. It's so fucking cool. So with this, I've used this all the time because the chances are when you go into a pack, remember Remorseless Winter is your new Death and Decay. When you go into a pack, even up to like 2 or 3 enemies, you're popping Pillar of Frost regularly, even in 5-mans where you're just doing trash clearances and using Remorseless Winter, which means you get a ton of use out of Winter is Coming. And yes, I know where the reference is from before everybody wants to let me know. I know. Moving down, we get some defensives. Okay, so we got Volatile Shielding, which is based around anti-magic shell, absorbing 65% more damage but generating no runic power. Go away! Go away. But when it expires, 100% of all damage absorbed is dealt as arcane damage divided amongst the enemies, so you can turn it to like an AoE. White Walker, yes, I know. You take 20% reduced damage while your Wraith Walk is active. All nearby enemies are slowed. Yeah, not that great for the PvE world, unfortunately. Permafrost, especially for leveling, is overpowered as fuck. I did a Zuna on a base level Unholy DK, which is like 680 item level, really shit, yeah? And my Unholy DK was dying. Like, literally dying. Dark Sucker and Deathknight just could not make up for the damage I was taking and having to eat regularly. Permafrost, I was at 100% health all the time. When you deal damage with auto attacks, you gain an Absorb shield equal to 30% of the damage dealt. This thing just continuously regenerates a shield for you. It's so fucking cool that the leveling experience as Frost is amazing. It's so fast and so fun. You're just running in, freezing everything to the goddamn ground and howling blast spamming. Even though Unholy is a hell of a lot of fun in Legion, and I'll be doing the video shortly, I just recommend you level as Frost. It's so fucking cool. It is so cool. Unless you're stupid overgeared and will kill things with 1 Scourge Strike, I'd still recommend this because of Permafrost. Right then, let's get to the fun stuff. The really fun stuff. So, we have Gathering Storm. This is kind of my go-to, and I'll explain why shortly. Which is Remorseless Winter deals 15% more damage with each successive wave. Just means it does a shitload of damage. Especially because you're more than likely pairing every second one up with Pillar of Frost. Frozen Pulse. Your auto attacks do AoE damage. Very similar to... what is it called? Which one? Avalanche? No? Yeah, kind of like Avalanche. You know, there's similar abilities. This is the worst. Then Frost Scythe. Right, Frost Scythe is a really awesome idea. So, Frost Scythe is a sweeping attack that strikes all enemies in front of you for a lot and benefits from Killing Machine. Now, it costs 1 rune instead of obliterates 2 runes, but it has a 6-second cooldown affected by haste. Now, Frost Scythe has one issue with it. Killing Machine is pretty regular, but not that regular. And because Frost Scythe has a cooldown, and because of the way the speed of this is very consistent, you tend to hold on to Frost Scythe until Killing Machine procs, right? Which kind of lends it to being a little unreliable sometimes, but not really. I'm being a little bitchy about it, I know, because this ability is super fucking cool. So here we go. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's good. Come on, proc again for me. Do it. Do it. So you can see it sits here for this period of time, yeah? You get the idea. That sometimes you're just like, come on, Frost Scythe, I want to AoE, but I want it with Killing Machine. Oh, by now I could have used it and had it come back off cooldown, right? This is the problem that I have with Frost Scythe. But then it goes right and you go, fuck you. It's cool. It's super cool. And when you line it up with your DPS cooldowns, you got Pillar of Frost going, you got Remorseless Winter going, and then you're scything through them. Oh, man. It feels so brutal. It's so visceral. I fucking love this attack. One thing I would say, if I could be a little nitpicky right now, is that Legion has some really cool scythe animations. If you look at the Maw of Souls dungeon that I showed you, look at the size of the scythe, and it appears in the air and then swings like a pendulum. Like something from Game of Thrones that comes out of a wall maybe at some point. So like that. I would love if this didn't come out of me, like as a scythe, and actually appeared above. You see it, like, comes out of you. He turns into a scythe. It's so fucking good. Oh, my God. I've got to show you this animation again, because I just fucking love it. Let me get rid of the UI. Oh, that's so good. I would actually love that if it came from, like, here and swept across. Yeah, and swept across in a big arc like a big frost scythe. I mean, that animation is already in the game, as is a frost scythe, because the Moon Kids get one. So I'm just saying, personally, I would prefer that, because it's so meaty. I would just love it if it was this big fucking swinging scythe that cut through everybody. Not that it already isn't very cool, but I'm just saying it could be better. Right then. At level 100, we have Obliteration. Great single target DPS cooldown. You pair this up with Hungering Rune Weapon. You gain a charge of Killing Machine guaranteed for the next 6 seconds. And Obliterate only costs 1 less rune. So it costs 1 rune. Minute and a half cooldown. Oh, man. You get to pair it up with Hungering Rune Weapon every second time. Oh, it's so good. It's so good because you're just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, constantly. It's so good. It's so awesome. Breath of Sindragosa. God, this is fucking cool now. So I'm going to have to get this out of the way. Glacial Advance. So Glacial Advance is absolutely the worst. Absolutely the worst. It's a cool animation. Yeah, it's a cool animation. It's just so niche. It's kind of nice for 5-mans every now and again. You get to weave it into your rotation, but it's nowhere near as satisfying as Remorseless Winter and the Howling Blast Band that comes with that and Frost Scythe. I mean, these are all just better. Glacial Advance, it's like, you have to like position it nicely and stuff, you know? It's a cool idea. I would like it if it had multiple channels so I didn't have to... I mean, the damage could be balanced that way. If it had one that went that way and one that went that way and one that went this way, if we had all 3 sort of angles covered there, I think it'd be better. But it's just flat damage is all it is. But ultimately, a lot of it gets wasted. I mean, usually the Death Ball, usually hugging the boss's bollocks like here, right? And therefore, a lot of the Glacial Advance actually goes behind. You don't get the benefit of that animation. I just wish it wasn't so... It's kind of fidgety to use sometimes. It's nothing wrong with it innately. It's fine, but compared to Obliteration for single target and then Breath of Sindragosa, oh man, I mean, it's nothing new. Breath of Sindragosa has been around for a while, but I've got to say, the Legion version is just so fucking beast. So beast. So let's click it. So, Breath of Sindragosa still works in the way it ordinarily would, which is draining runic power. So, you're banking it. Now you're going to bank up your runic power. You're going to get some fucking runes ready because obviously you can get Breath of Sindragosa to go for a long time. In the dungeon I show you at the end... I got Breath of Sindragosa to go from the boss being at 50% down to like 20% with a continuous Breath of Sindragosa going. It was so satisfying to use. So satisfying. And it spreads in such a wonderful arc that I really fucking just truly adore it. So let me replace my Glacial Advance and give you an idea of this. So let's just build up some resources like we would. You could obviously pair this up with Hungering Rune Weapon and keep it going for even longer. So we're just going to save our runic for a little second. Usually we can spam this. It still falls into that same trap. So we've got a full runic power bar now. Just going to wait for a couple of runes to recharge. And then we're going to unleash exactly what makes Frost so fucking cool these days. So we have a few runes now. Pop Pillar of Frost. Go Breath of Sindragosa. And it just continues on in this fucking magnificent goddamn way. And all we do is now you can mix in your Horn of Winter to get some more runes for extra obliterates. It gets down to like 25%. Still going. Empower the rune weapon. Boom, boom, boom. Back up, using Freezing Fogs, keep it going, another Obliterate, and look how long you can keep this thing fucking going. And it's super fucking satisfying. It really is. And it just molests. You get these big, look, I mean, it's fucking causing FPS drops is so cool. It's way more satisfying to use this now. Way more satisfying. I had that going for like 30 seconds there. God, it's good. God, it's good. Oh, I love this thing. It just feels so much more powerful than the WOD version. I don't know what it is, but it feels so much more powerful. When you get a solid one out, there's a satisfaction there that you can't meet anywhere else. It's like, I got Breath of Sindragosa going for so long, and I'm like hungry for encounters that give you a shitload of haste and bloodlust and stuff, so my Breath of Sindragosa is just going and going and going and going, and my runes are regenerating like a fucking maniac. Oh, good times. Good times. So, yeah, Obliteration of Breath of Sindragosa, 2 thumbs up. Glacial Advance just feels shit in comparison. Nothing really wrong with it. It just feels shit in comparison, and that's the only thing I can say about it. Okay. Let's talk about the shitty spell we have, which should be really cool, but isn't. If I want to say one more thing about Breath of Sindragosa, could we get the wings? I mean, I'm talking about animations and stuff here with Frosty DK. That's how cool it is. I would love the wings. You know, like the Malefic Helm for the Warlocks, the TBC? Yeah, TBC. The TBC Malefic Helm with the wings. That's animation again. It's already in the game. I would love Syndragosa's wings to be out while we have Breath of Syndragosa up. Because Syndragosa's head appears, but then it disappears while we're breathing. I would love the wings to stay out so everyone knows I've done a meaty Breath of Syndragosa. I would fucking love that if we had the Frost Dragon wings coming out. Okay, on to speaking of dragons then. It's a cool idea, it just fucking blows. And this is why we're on the 110. Syndragosa's Fury. This is the only on use you get in your artifact weapons. It summons Syndragosa, who breathes frost on all enemies within 40 yards in front of you, dealing frost damage and slowing movement speed. Yeah, so there's an artifact here that summons Syndragosa itself. It's so bad. Now, one thing I will say is the animation is bugged, but ultimately it's just not that cool. It really isn't. You ready? Are you ready, guys? Yeah. Okay, so how could this be better? Could Syndragosa just appear up here and breathe down on my target? That would make that so much more interesting and so much more fun, rather than her just sort of sweeping by. I mean, honestly, I've seen guys using this in dungeons when the 110s could be used in dungeons. They're still not allowed, as far as I know. I check. Just double check. I should check this every day. No, they're still not allowed. I've seen it happen, and it just looks so weird. It just looks so goofy, and she fucks off. And because of the nature of most of the environments we fight in, she always goes through a wall. Or something. Unless you're in a long corridor, she always just, like, disappears randomly. It's such a weird ability. Yeah, if it just changed so that Syndragosa could just float in the air and breathe down on the target, it'd be miles better. You know, similar to what a gargoyle does, essentially, for the Unholies. Have I got anything else to tell you? No. The spec is super fucking cool. If you've ever played a Frost DK in your life, you will be able to pick this up in about 10 minutes and be happy with it. It plays exactly as you would like it to. You have all sorts of things to mix in. Frost size for fucking days. You can mix in some AoE really easily. You know, all this shit is so cool. You can set up for... the only downtime is setting up for things like a big meaty Breath of Syndragosa. And then once you hit that mark and you're like, oh shit, it's about to go down, son. You wait those few seconds, then you go, fuck it, YOLO, and then you get her going. And you give some big crits and you're freezing fog on top of that and you pop your fucking AoE. And you just start becoming this monster. This absolute goddamn monster of play. And how you can complain about it is fucking beyond me because it's so fucking cool. It is so goddamn cool all the time. So let's jump into some gameplay and show it off because genuinely it's fucking... so fun. So fun. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the Frost DK. Join me if you will. Oh, I want to show you something cool. So, as I finish gushing about how fun the Frost DK is, it certainly has its problems, right? I want you to watch the floor. You might have seen it earlier because I accidentally set it off while I was talking about this stuff. There are talents here that are boring, but the ones that are cool more than make the... like, I can forgive it. Like, it's not all the way through. Like, with some specs, these boring tiers are like permeate all the way through it. The Frost DK just doesn't have that. Like, it has fucking Frost Scythe and Breath. And Winter is Coming is cool as well. Hungering Rune Weapon is cool. Glacial Advance is cool. Obliteration is cool. They're just cool and fun, which is what the talent should be. They changed the gameplay by just adding in just fun shit that goes on all the time. This is a 2-minute cooldown. Is it that difficult to manage? Not really. Frost Scythe just goes alongside Killing Machine, which is what you're doing anyway. Fucking Syndragosa's Fury, even if they do change the animation, it's still a 5-minute cooldown, right? That's a 5-minute cooldown, by the way, that you just saw there. Horn of Winter, far more interesting to play with. I could absolutely forgive the dull stuff here because the rest of it makes up for it. The dream world, of course, that everything has something really interesting and fun going on. But that's not where we are right now. This is how it is. Now, do I have to take my hand off the keyboard for this to happen? Potentially. Potentially. So we're going to wait with bated breath. And I'm going to turn off the UI. I think I have to start going AFK. In fact, I'm going to get a little better image of this. Because this is just like so stupidly cool. I just don't even understand how it's been put into the game. This has been one of the... as a fan of the Frost DK, as you may know, I have a long history with Frost DKs, including World Firsts. And the problems I always had with it, I've gone now. They've gone. And all they've done is just add more fun to it. Oh. Uh-oh. What's happening at my feet? Oh. You see this? And it spreads. So what you'll see is when you go AFK, even before you go AFK, I'm not officially AFK yet, If we go AFK, if you stand still and don't press anything too long, you literally just freeze the ground below you. It's such a minor thing. It just spreads out ever so slowly. And you actually, like, freeze. You literally turn to ice. And then when you move, you'll hear the shattering sound effect come off. And it just continues to spread like that. I mean, the animation's not great. It's just an expanding circle. But isn't that cool? Isn't that so, so cool? Oh, man. When I saw this happening as I was waiting for a dungeon, I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me right now? You freeze the floor around you? Isn't that what we've always wanted? It's just this effect, and they've done it, man. They've absolutely done it. So it stays like that. That's like the maximum, I think. Oh, no, it's still spreading, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. So it looks like that, and then when you move, it looks like that little clink of the ice. So good. If you want to avoid spoilers, leave now, and just know your Frost DK is in pretty good shape. I look forward to revisiting this and playing it on my off time. For the rest of you, join me in a dungeon. Alright? Bye-bye. Ladies and gents, thanks for sticking with me as we head into the Vault of the Wardens. I cannot imagine in the life of me we're going to finish this dungeon because, yeah, alpha dungeons have been pretty shitty recently, but that's okay. I don't even have that much to show you, honestly. This spec is just flat out fucking fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the kind of less interesting talents like Glacial Advance and Frost Scythe early on, and then I'm going to switch over to the spec that's just way better, and then we're going to play that. So, the general idea with these spells is you have, like, Glacial Advance, it works like that. Then we get this Frost Scythe proc. Now, as I said in the first half of the video, the problem with Frost Scythe is it comes with this sort of inherently low cooldown, but it has a cooldown nonetheless. And obviously, we want to use that cooldown with Killing Machine, which kind of means you just let it sit until you get Killing Machine. Now, here we go. We've got Pop our AoE. Now, it's a great spell, as you can see. It's fucking cool. When Frost Scythe goes off, as long as we're not being feared all the time. I am undead. I should add that to my bars. I very rarely need it, but there you go. Frost Scythe is a very, very cool spell. I just really wish it wasn't... It didn't have this cooldown, so I could get more use out of it, and I could bank the rune. That would make it so much more interesting, because I obviously want to use it in conjunction with Killing Machine. And that just takes away a little bit of the fun out of it, you know what I mean? Glacial Advance! Evade! Oh shit, that's not good. We've got an evade going on. I'll save my Frost Scythe proc. If you've ever played a Frost Deathknight, honestly, you will never struggle to play this thing. Ever! In the history of ever. You will walk into Legion and just be like, oh yeah, this makes total goddamn sense to me. And I think that's a cool thing. Despite the talents overall, you see the floating weapons here, they're so weird. This artifact ability has got to be a work in progress. Let's stun them because we've got Winter is coming. We generate another rune with our Blood Tap / Howl of Winter / we know exactly what you're trying to do here, Blizzard. Frost Scythe! Fucking cool, isn't it? Isn't Frost Scythe cool? It's a shame it's just like... It has this stigma attached to it, and I prefer the other style of play. As being far more consistent. Here we go, another Remorseless Winter. Freeze! Freeze beneath me! And don't fear me. I don't think it even works. It doesn't work while you're feared. Wah, wah, wah. Frost Scythe, though. Fuck you. Let's line up a Glacial Advance. Glacial Advance has to be one of the worst abilities added. Despite the fact that it looks super fucking cool. There's no getting away from that. Frost Scythe. It looks super fantastic. There's no getting away from that. It just... It lacks any and all coolness. Where Frost Scythe, look at that damage. Can you imagine when it's like... I mean, are we scaled to 110 in this one? Yeah, we are. We're scaled to 110 in here. Horn of Winter. The damage is still cool, because we're still in shitty gear. I'm going to Frost Scythe you anyway. Even though I should have obliterated, I'm going to Frost Scythe you. I'm so fucking happy with the Frost DK. I really am. It didn't ever needed that much tweaking. It just needed to have pace. Right, I think that's enough for Glacial Advance. Let's go... we got a mini-boss here. So I'm going to go with Obliteration. Because Obliteration's funny. That's all I have to say. We can get rid of this now. We'll take... that's a single attack. So we'll take Frozen Pulse for this. Where is the mini-boss? Hello? There he is. Alright. Obliteration. Boom. 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 Look at it. When it starts proccing, oh my god. You just can't even spend these resources. Tag! Tag! Obliteration, go! All the deeps in the world. big, fat, juicy crits, which Frost DKs fucking love. And I fucking love it too. Kick ass and take some names. Now, you're probably asking me, where's the super exciting moment? All the time. But different. It's always different. Like, the super exciting time is just always different. I really like that. It's, whether or not you're chaining back-to-back obliterate crits, or whether you're getting a load of Howling Blast procs, or whatever it might be. Now, I can't take Breath of Cinder Ghost, obviously, for the next 45 seconds, so we're going to go move to Gathering Storm now. We'll take to Freezing Fog. I will stick with Icy Talons, it's not that interesting. But I do like Freezing Fog for targeting things specifically. Winter is coming, so we'll use our Winter is coming. So if you forgot what Winter is coming is doing, if we use Remorseless Winter, which is our Death and Decay replacement, obviously. If we do that, while under the effects of our Pillar of Frost, then we get this wonderful stun that applies to everything. And it might seem on the tooltip that that's a really awkward thing to have. Let's get Breath of Cinder Ghost. Come on, give me the best ability! It might seem like that's really awkward. It's really not. It's really not. All in the coolness going. With this many mobs, of course, before going Obliterate into... it feels better just to be Howling Blasting at this point. Right, we have our cooldown and Obliterate back, so I don't want to use that. Come on. Another Remorseless Winter. Regenerate some more runes of Runic with the old Horn of Winter. I really prefer the new Horn of Winter to Blood Tap. Blood Tap was nice, but this is much better. It just feels better. All the damage in the world. Right, we've got 4 seconds, so what I'm going to do is drop my Pillar of Frost. Get feared while under the effects of Pillar of Frost. Get a Remorseless Winter going, which should hopefully stun everything if I didn't die. Run back really fast with the power of Wraithwalk. Frost DK mobility at its finest. I'm going the wrong way. Come on, come on. Uh-oh, healer died. Go, healer! Go! I believe in you, friend. I'm on my way. I set up the big Pillar of Frost stun, but didn't quite make it. Oh, he's still going. Come on, Russian tank. Russian paladin falls to no beast. My dots are still ticking. Excellent. Anti-magic shell, save me. Nope. No. Oh, the tank died the second I got there. Wah, wah, wah. Such is the Vault of the Wardens, unfortunately. This is the hardest part of Vault of the Wardens. Run, healer! I stay with you, Russian tank. I defeat all enemies. If he dies, he dies. Name the film. I feel like I've played this for the last 5 years, and it's only got better. I mean, you guys know I had world firsts as a Frost DK, and hopefully you know that. If you didn't know that, I did. Most of my world firsts that I've had were as a Frost Deathknight, and honestly, this just feels so much smoother than when I got my world first, which is when you had these awkward moments when nothing could happen. Really awkward moments. And those moments, for the most part, seem like they got right. Fine. Fuck's sake. Hold on. Where is it? Give it me. I'm probably never going to get feared again for the entire duration. Right then, let's go back to Breath of Sindragosa and we can light up this bitch. Well, we can freeze this shit. Freeze it to the fucking ground. Now, this setup you're looking at right now is pretty much my go-to setup right now in the alpha. I fucking love this setup. It's really cool. The only change I usually make is for Freezing Fog, which just means my Howling Blast does more damage. Like Icy Talons, I don't even notice it's happening. Same with Shattering Strikes. So, Freezing Fog is where I tend to go, but they're all passive, so it doesn't make a goddamn bit of difference. Not even a slightest bit. Everything else, Gathering Storms is more... Frost Scythe is more fun, for sure. But Gathering Storms, which is Remorseless Winter just dealing way more damage, is just far more, you know, it's more regular, more useful. It doesn't feel like I'm ignoring an Obliterate and saving a Frost Scythe. Right, Pillar of Frost on, so we can stun all these mobs for our friends. Right, here we go. Let's build up some runic power here. You ready? Breath of Sindragosa is on the wrong key binding. Go up here. Ah! Get breathed on, fools. I didn't breathe on as many as I would like, but look at it. You know you with the Frost DK when he's breathing all over the things. We'll get a better one, don't worry. That was a poor display. We can't walk upstairs. For some reason those stairs are bugged. Whatever. It falls down at its very core back to the standard Obliterate and killing Obliterate Frost Strike. That's it, and everything else in between. Now, the fact that you can't like waste Killing Machine now on Frost Strikes is so much better. You never feel like you're making that mistake. We're bound to being dual wield. That kind of discussion is over and done with. And it makes it just that much better, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure, given the fact that I talented my Remorseless Winter, that on 2 targets it's a DPS increase for 1 rune. I'm, like, convinced that's the case, and will be the case even going live. If, you know, if you talent it. I never feel like I have to hold back now. A big part of playing a Frost DK in past expansions was holding back and making sure, trying to get Killing Machine to proc and building up. I did a whole advanced Frost DK guide, my advanced Frost DK guide, which was all about floating like 60 runic power to try and make sure you're getting the best effect out of it. Right, here we go. Big breath. Oh no, 40 seconds on breath. Boo! 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 I want to breathe. I want to breathe all over your face. I want you to drink in my deliciousness. But I can't. There'll be a lot of guys out there, probably like me, who are classic Frost DKs, who even when Horn of Winter was fucking garbage, right? We all remember that. When Horn of Winter was fucking absolute arse, we still pressed it. Like in WoD, you still pressed it because when you came to this downtime period that Frost DKs and all classes suffer from at some point, unless they're like inherently global cooldown locked. It happened to everybody at some point. Is that you were still press Horn of Winter, but it did nothing. You kind of felt like, God, I've got to train my hands to stop pressing Horn of Winter. That's gone now. that's I guess that's one of the coolest aspects of it. Is that's really not the case anymore. It just is worth all the time now to just squeeze it in like that. And get that satisfying that Inception horn blowing. Is it the boss now? I think it's the boss now. I'd be really impressed if we finish this dungeon. I'm just going to have fun if we do. One more trash pack. Okay.
You and all your kin, and when I'm done, I will fulfill the dreams of my mentor.
So if you've never seen this boss fight coming up, right, we're gonna try not to blow any resources on these two particularly. If you've never seen this boss before, it's a DPS burst past 50%. That's when it gets harsh. So we're gonna set up a big pillar of frost, Breath of Sindragosa, and we're gonna try and channel Breath of Sindragosa for essentially the remainder of the fight. I will say I would prefer if Breath of Sindragosa didn't work that way. If I'm being honest, it would be nice. But I don't like the fact that I have to like give up pressing Frost Strike and stuff to keep Breath of Sindragosa going. I know some people don't mind it. It's a bit of a subjective thing, I suppose. It would be cool, but I prefer that if it was like locked to like a full runic power bar, and that meant that I could easily like I've capped it so I could go on to do other things. This is me imagining I'm pressing Army of the Dead. Just imagine that we still have that Army of the Dead. I know. RIP. Was it really a problem, Blizzard? Was it? I don't think so. So I'm going to take it pretty easy for the first half of this fight. And when it hits 50%, that's when this fight's going to take off. So we'll just be using our Freezing Fog procs. Freezing Fog for the majority of the fight. And just kind of chilling out, building resources. We could use our Horn of Winter. That's no problem. And then we're going to go fucking Hamburglar in the last 50% of the fight. Where's he aiming that way? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Well, it's taken us a little while to get there. We might have even got away with a Pillar of Frost early on here, but usually this guy dies a bit quicker than this. So that's okay. I know that numbers-wise, Frost DK is a little low right now, but again, that's like... it means nothing on the alpha. Who fucking cares, honestly? AMS soaking! No, he didn't cast it at his feet. Boo! And a hiss. No, we're getting there now. So it might seem like I'm resource starved right now. I'm not using my resources. What you'll see in the last 50% is we're not resource starved whatsoever. You do have these sort of momentary, periodic areas where there isn't much to do. But that's okay. Because you're choosing to play that way, if that makes sense. Okay, we're nearly getting there, so I'm going to be starting to build up my runic power bar now and getting some runes in preparation. Because obviously, while Breath of Sindragosa is going, we actually want to have full runes to keep refreshing our runic power. Another Furious Blast, so we can dump a little bit. Yeah, we're almost there. What's that percentage? Doesn't say. I should have turned that on my bars, but whatever. No big deal. Just preparing, sitting and preparing. Metamorphosis, here we go. Breath of Sindragosa, go! Horn, go. Keep the runic going. And when our rune gets low, we're going to empower our rune weapon and keep it going. Give me some more, give me some more. Oh, big dick deeps. Breath is just still going. Breath is just worn out. That is a big fucking breath of Sindragosa. Oh, tank died. Shit. I had full aggro after that. I'm not even surprised. I'm not even fucking surprised. I suspected when I put the big breath. You're going down, sucker. Maybe I should have interrupted more. I was just looking forward to too much. I was probably too excited for my big breath of Sindragosa. The king of interrupting. Can't overheal this. I'm not sure I can kick the Furious Blast, though. I don't think I even tried, because it's such a long cast. I just assumed you couldn't. But I'll double check. Being overconfident in one's abilities, I suppose. Always a problem. I will accept the... If we can interrupt that, I will fully accept the failure for this wipe. Fully accept. So, luckily, hopefully... Oh, 154 in a power rune weapon. That should be fine. We could get an early Pillar of Frost on this fight. We know that now. So that's pretty good. Let me in. Let me frost the fuck out of this guy. Is there anything here you guys aren't recognizing from WoD? No way! I was fucking behind the tank. Bullshit. I call shenanigans on that whole fucking thing. So we got an early Pillar of Frost going. Yeah, if, realistically speaking, I mean, as far as I'm aware, can't interrupt that. No interrupt to the Dark Strikes. No Strangulate anymore. Wah, wah, wah. Well, there's the Breath of Sindragosa's back, but we're going to save it. We're going to save it. One thing you should be noticing is that runic power generation is pretty smooth now, right? Isn't it cool? It's very cool. Usually we have this weird downtime period, but the new, woo. Yeah, you can't interrupt that. Cool. I'll take care of it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Daddy's got it. Thing is, usually I heal this or range DPS it, and like, am I going to interrupt as a mage? Come on. Come on, game. No. No. As a mage, I find it abhorrent behavior to do that, but I'll do them all now. So yeah, I'll take the full responsibility for the first wipe. My bad. As a part of the ballers, I should be interrupting everything, but whatever. These things happen. Right, we're setting up for our big 50% now. I don't think we'll... Ooh, 12 seconds on a power rune weapon. This might line up really nicely. And if so, we'll be more than happy. Ugh, Wraithwalk! Mobility hype! Alright, we're almost there. So let's start building our runic and our runes ready. One more. We can use that freezing fog. Here we go. There's the Mater. Go! Keep that runic flowing, man. More runes for the fucking shovel. Boom. Boom. Back-to-back obliterates. Oh, this is lovely. I haven't even powered rune weapon yet. This is fucking sexual. I can get one more off, I think. Yeah, now we're in power the rune weapon. Keep going. The breath is still going. It's still going. It's just worn off. That was awesome. We got like 20% of the boss under the effects of breath. Awesome. Ah, I could have fucking Horde of Winter as well. Wah, wah, wah. Give me my tell me when. Come back. No, no, don't mention Bros DK mobility. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. It's not a thing. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Right, we've got our Pillar of Frost back. Let's wait for a couple more runes. And, like, now. Always still doing that preparation. As classic Frost DKs will do. The classic Frost DKs will have no issue doing that little bit of preparation before popping a Pillar of Frost. Resource banking is a good way to play. Still got that Pillar of Frost ticking at, like, fucking 5 seconds. This boss is so much easier than his first iteration. Holy shit. I can't even tell you guys what this first phase used to be like. It used to be a beast. But, yeah, it's fine now. We got 50. We might even get another breath off here. That would be cool. Show me another breath. Although, I just want to show you an AoE breath. Just so you can feel the frosty goodness. 6 seconds. Let's try and build up for a breath. 9 seconds on pillar. I don't think the boss will last that long, though. Risk it for a biscuit? I don't know, man. Yeah, go. Rune, go. Horn of Winter, go. Pillar of Frost, go. Come on. Keep the breath ticking. The breath is everything. The breath is life. Drink the breath in. Yeah. Fuck right off. Ooh, a Talisman of Victory. 25 artifact power. That's so shit. Ooh, we got some wrists. 700. Nice. Upgrades. Versatility forever.
If you intend to venture deeper, you will find far more terrifying things lurking in our depths.
The sadness then. Is there a sadness? Yeah, a lot of the talents are fucking dull. There's no getting away from that, right? But the ones that are cool are really cool. So, it's one of those. Like, there's a lot of people who want more passives and stuff. So, am I going to tell those guys are wrong? Nah, man. There's choices here for a player like me. I hope they're useful, is all I would say. I hope they're useful. The lack of stuff like Gorfiend's Grasp is a real fucking downer. The lack of Army of the Dead is a real downer. The lack of Strangulate is a real downer. These are all the niche stuff that we got to use every now and again. That I would even go as far as to say they were signature DK abilities by this point. To lose them fucking blows. Like, a lot. Really a lot. And stuns them all. There you go. That's the Frost DK. Look at everything covered in icicles. Fucking hell. I'm such a graphical overlord. Fuck transmog. Look at this shit. Woohoo. More Remorseless Winter. Drink it in. Drink in the Remorseless Winter. I mean, look at this. It's always something to do. So fucking good. Frost DK's always had that downtime all the time. It's like, ugh, it feels really slow. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's something I thought. To Breath of Sindragosa this. You know what? I'm not gonna Breath of Sindragosa this. One, it's been like really nerfed compared to how much health it used to have. This thing used to last like 5 fucking minutes. I'm not even joking. The original incarnation of this Imp Mother was an absolute travesty. So I really want to do a big fucking fatty Breath of Sindragosa AoE. One, it's fun to play and it just looks cool as shit, and that's everything I want. Because what you have is Remorseless Winter, you have Pillar of Frost going, you're spamming like Howling Blast and shit, and you've got fucking Breath of Sindragosa ticking on everything. Very awesome. I'm not pressing it. Last time. Lift don't work. Oh, the lift is broken in here. Yeah, okay, that's true. This actually brings us to the end of the run, guys, unfortunately. The lift is broken. I should have known that when I got into this dungeon, but I think I've demonstrated all I want to show you. There's not much else to show you here. The Frost DK... Tell me that wasn't the lift. No. The Frost DK is everything you will probably hope to have loved in WoD, or even in Kata, or in MOP, and it's just had some slight tweaks which makes the gameplay far smoother, far more fun. Mobility, yeah, okay, it's still kind of thing. Wraithwalk has just far too long a cooldown. 1 minute for that little short distance ain't great. I'm not gonna lie, it's not the best. But gameplay-wise, it's a shitload of fun. A shitload of fun. Some minor tweaks. Frost Scythe is so fucking cool. I just wish I didn't feel like I had to hold back until I get a killing machine. Not that there's anything really wrong with that, but sometimes killing machine just doesn't proc for a while. It happens to everybody, right? And you're sat there and you're like, my Frost Scythe's just kind of sitting there. And I have this AoE to do, and Frost Scythe's super fucking cool, and I want to use it more. Which is why, after like lots of hours of gameplay, I've just tilted over to Gathering Storm. Glacial Advance looks awesome, but it just isn't. It isn't. I wish it had more... I wish it was far better than what it is. Especially in comparison to Breath of Sindragosa and Obliteration. These two just miles ahead of Glacial Advance. They're just miles and miles and miles ahead. Icy Talons and Shattering Strikes. Sure, they're passives. And this entire tier is passive. I gotta give it a pass, although usually I would be a little reluctant to do that for having an entire tier of passive abilities that don't change gameplay whatsoever. Ordinarily, I would smash this into the ground, but the rest of it kind of makes up for this one sort of very weak tier. Horn of Winter fits exactly where I want it to compared to Murderous Efficiency and Runic Attunement. It's a load of fun. It's a shitload of fun. And I hope even in the brief time I could show you this, that it is a lot of fun. I'll look forward to replaying it closer to Legion Live. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.